Hello guys, welcome to my video series. This is part 3 of ECN 228 from the University of Buea that talks about statistics. If you have not seen the part 1 and 2, which is about the multiple choice, check on my channel. Is Maths Time Questions and Answers, a channel that gives you insights about the problems giving you headache at school. In the part 3 of ECN 228 today, we are going to discuss about the types of data, how we can classify data. Before we dive into the question proper, I want to give you an overview of the type of data we'll be dealing with. So in today's video, we'll be talking about two types of data: the quantitative and the qualitative data. When we talk about quantitative data, what do we mean? It simply means data that can be expressed as a number. That is, data that can take numerical values. So when we can express data as a number, we talk about quantitative data, like how much, how far. Data that answer these questions, we call them quantitative data. How far is it from Buea to Douala? The quantity 2 kilometers. How much is it? Is 2,000 francs. Quantity. So when we are talking about the data that can take weighted values that can be expressed as words, we talk about the quality of that data. This quality of data or qualitative data can also be called categorical data because it can be used to categorize the data, like in terms of good, better, and best. So when we express data in terms of words, we call it qualitative data. What quality is your t-shirt? You went to Mami Put today. What is the quality of her food? It was good, so delicious. So we talk about the qualitative data. Now when we are talking about quantitative data, this data can be divided into two parts. It can be discrete or continuous. When we talk about discrete data, we mean data that can be counted. Counting in this case simply means that it can take whole numbers, or what we call integers: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So data that does not have any decimal point, we call it discrete data, and we say that this data can be counted. When we talk about data that cannot be counted but can be measured, we talk about continuous data. That is, data that have decimal points. We call them discrete data. Like for instance, the distance from Buea to Moliko Buea to maybe Rompoint Daido in Douala. So we'll be talking about, maybe some people will say it's 2 kilometers. Some people will say it's 5.1 kilometers. So it has decimal point. We call that type of quantitative data continuous data. Now when we talk about qualitative data, we'll also talk about two types of data. We'll talk about nominal and ordinal data. When we talk about nominal data, it is just used for labeling. That is, it takes words but without any particular order. We cannot classify this word into any order. For instance, the gender in your class, we cannot classify them in any order. We can just say they are male and female. Like the hair color, it can be brown, it can be blonde, it can be black, and so on. We can't classify them into any category. Like citizenship, where are you from? In terms of countries, we don't have any order in which we classify. So we call this type of data nominal data. But data that has a particular order in which we classify them in words, we call them ordinal data. Like what is the quality of the food you went there? Is it good, better, or best? So that is a particular order: the best, the better, and the good. So in this case that has an order, we call them ordinal data. So with this in mind, let's now dive into the questions proper. But with that, before we go into the question proper, let me give you a hint again. Now, the question A says classify the following data according to various types. They have not given us the particular type in which we are going to classify this data. So you can classify in terms of quality or quantity, or in terms of ordinal, nominal, continuous, or discrete. So, but when they have not given you any particular way of classifying, why don't you pick the easiest for you? You just classify according to quality and quantity. But if they specify, classify them according to discrete, continuous, nominal, and ordinal, then you need to follow that regard. So in this example, we'll classify them according to quality and quantitative form. But I'll also mention the other types of data where they fall. So let's go. The question number 1 says the length of time it takes each of the 15 telephone installers to hook up a wall phone. So when we talk about time, we talk about minutes, second, hours, and when we talk about this time, we talk about what? Numbers. So because we talk about numbers, we talk about which type of data? That's right, we talk about the quantity of that data. So we'll call that data quantitative data. Now, because we are talking about quantitative data, please note this answer is enough for the question, but let's expatiate. Maybe they gave you to classify instead in terms of discrete and continuous. So because we talk about quantity, the data can be discrete or continuous. Now, the length of time it takes each of the 15 telephone installers to hook up a wall phone can vary, can take 1 minute, can take 1 second, can take 10 minutes, can take 1.2 seconds, and so on. Because there will always be a decimal in this form, we call this data continuous data. Okay, let's move to question number 2. The style of music preferred by each of the 30 random selected radio listeners. What type of music? The music can be opera, it can be jam, it can be rock, it can be Afrobeats, it can be our African music, and so on. So in this case, we will classify the music according to words like opera, rock, like Afro, and so on. So because we are using words, this data will be, that's right, the qualitative data. Question number 3. The arrival time of a train from Gandore to Yaoundé. What is the arrival time? The time is, again, we are talking about time. So because we are talking about time, we are talking about numbers. So because we are talking about numbers, what type of data? Quantitative data. That's right. The next question is a sample of 100 customers in a fast food restaurant is asked to rate their hamburgers on the following scale: poor, fair, good, or excellent. Because we are talking about the way we can rate something in terms of the words, then what are we talking about? Pause the video and answer the question. Okay, welcome back. I believe you must have paused the video and you have an answer. Now, what is the answer you got? If your answer was the quality, then you are right. Thumbs up. Very good. So we have qualitative data. Question number 5. The score of 200 students in a business statistics examination. So the scores will always change, and the score is the mark, and the mark will always be a number, but the number will always change. So we have what? Quantitative data, which is what? Continuous. So the answer is quantitative data. Question number 6. The color of hair of students in an amphi. So your hair color cannot be classified in terms of 1, 2, or 3. So it cannot be classified in terms of numbers, but it can be classified in terms of words like your hair is blonde, your hair is gray, your hair is black. So when we are talking about numbers with words, we talk about the quality of that hair. So we talk about qualitative data. Question number 7. The salary of employees in the ministries can be classified as what type of data? Oh, ministries. I didn't spell it well. Okay, let's move on. So what type of data? The salaries. So salaries are always in monetary form, and when we are talking about monetary, we talk about figures, and when we are talking about figures, we talk about what? The quantity of that particular data. So that question is quantitative data. Before we go, we have a bonus question. The bonus question is section B, and the section B says, what single word can you use to describe discrete data and continuous data? What single word? So we know discrete data can be counted while continuous data can be measured. So the single word is simply counted for discrete data while measured for continuous data. So guys, thank you for watching and stay with me. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share my videos to your classmates, for it will help you and help others. Thank you. Comment on the comment section with questions you want me to provide answers for, and before you know it, there will be a video on its math time questions and answers. Stay blessed and remain with me. Bye bye.